that. All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Wendy Camisar, Instructor and Research Specialist at the Howard County Library System Central Branch. Thank you for joining us today for the final session of Way to Go, presented by our partners at the Howard County Health Department and Giant Food. Please be aware that closed captioning for today is provided as a courtesy by Zoom and may contain some errors. By hovering at the bottom of your screen, you will see the CC button and you can toggle that to turn on or off the captions. Also, if you have any questions during the session, please type them in the chat box below. We are joined tonight for our final session with Melanie Burdick. Melanie is a registered dietitian, a licensed dietitian nutritionist, a certified diabetes care and education specialist, a certified specialist in obesity and weight management, and a certified personal trainer. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Dietetics from Eastern Michigan University and a Master of Science in Applied Nutrition from the University of New England. She believes in practical steps to improving health and wellness where no food is off limits. So great to have you with us as we finish the series, Melanie. And with that, I will turn it over to you.
Oh, thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I see some familiar names in the participants list tonight. So it's good to see all of you for our last segment of Way to Go. And tonight we're going to talk about, what happens now? What are some things to consider, moving forward after focusing on goals and lifestyle change? How do we keep up that motivation? Oh, let's see here. All right. So really just to recap the last couple of weeks, and it has flown by. So first off, when we first met way back several weeks ago, the first thing we talked about was goal planning and energy balanced eating. And so hopefully during that time, you've thought about goal setting. Maybe you made some goals for yourself. And if you did, let us know. Please throw in the chat, what are some of the personal goals that you've been working on this year? Maybe it was something that you started before the class began, or maybe something that you started recently. Let us know in the chat. Let's see here. Let's see, no goals. All right, I'll keep an eye on the, let's see here. So it looks like we have one looking at sugar. Awesome. And yes, Sandra, I'll get to your question too. That's a good question in a moment. So any other goals that you're focusing on, anything related to healthy living? So that could be sleep, that could be exercise or physical activity. That could be just getting an extra serving of vegetables on your plate. So we're going to do a real quick recap of our goals to kind of help refresh as you move on after today. Hopefully there are some things that you're considering on implementing in the weeks to come. And then, of course, during week 2, we focus on meal planning. And this can be an area where it can seem a little overwhelming at first trying to plan meals for the week. But once you get into a routine and develop that rhythm, and it becomes like a well-oiled machine, so to speak. So definitely, as we continue on into the spring, into the summer, think about meal planning for you. What are some of the tendencies that you tend to fall on if you don't plan meals for the week? Do you tend to dine out? Do you tend to do pickup or have delivery? Meal planning can really help us stay focused on our goals. And that way we can plan the meals that meet our health and wellness goals. And of course, that's going to help manage any of those considerations that we might have: sodium intake, saturated fat, calories, or carbohydrates. So again, meal planning can just be one day. It could be just planning what's for breakfast tomorrow morning. That counts. Or you can plan, your meals for the day or for a few days. So think about, as you move on, what are some of the things that you could do with meal planning to be successful? And then, of course, during week 3, we took that virtual walk through the grocery store, and hopefully that gave you some ideas for new things to try. Now, moving forward, I am more than happy to meet anyone in person for an in-person store tour at any location that's convenient to you at a Giant location. So I know we did a virtual overview, but I'd be more than happy, as you start thinking more and more about your wellness goals moving forward, I'd be happy to take an individualized in-person tour with you. Now, week 4, we talked about mindfulness. And if anyone has been practicing mindfulness at home, let us know in the chat. Is there anything that's worked for you or helped you bring more insight into your own eating habits? So when we think about mindfulness, this is also another consideration as you move forward for continuing that motivation and really seeing those changes in your lifestyle, focusing on your food and beverage intake, self-monitoring, whether that's writing things down in a journal or really just thinking about your eating habits, where, when, and why you eat. This can help you be very successful over the long term. Many times, our habits start to dwindle or kind of trickle back in over some time. So we want to make sure that we really stay ahead of ourselves and try to be mindful of any of those old returning habits. And thanks, Sandra. Oh, look. Oh, great. So really think about, why and what you're eating. Absolutely. So when it comes to choosing your foods, think about who, what, when, where, why, and how. All of those things impact our eating choices. And so mindfulness is a really very important approach as you move forward. And then, of course, physical activity and sleep. We'll talk briefly about this today as we wrap up. But hopefully after last week, we talked about the benefits of physical activity, getting at least 150 minutes a week for health benefits, and also sleep as well. So we're going to recap those in just the next couple of slides. And so for tonight, let's talk about lifestyle change and motivation. How are we going to keep going after the last couple of weeks? All right, so let's backtrack. Let's go back to week one and let's talk about as we move forward, thinking about goal setting. This is really important. And this actually can be used in any area of life. And so maybe you thought about doing some goals, but maybe you didn't get to it in the last couple of weeks. There's never a wrong time to get started when it comes to your health and wellness goals. So again, remember when you're thinking about adding or modifying something in your lifestyle, think smart. So again, anything that we want to do, we want to make sure it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it is very relevant to our lifestyle and our personal choices, and it's within a certain time frame. So could it be a week, a month, you name it? It's really very personalized, and that's what makes it important. It's all about you and your goals. So again, making it specific. So is it going to be drinking more water? Is it going to be maybe increasing the number of glasses of water that you have during the day? Maybe you've been working on drinking 4 glasses. Well, maybe it's time to increase it to 5 if you feel ready. So think about, again, what is that goal that I'm going to do? Write it down so you can see it. Nothing nothing beats writing it down. It makes it really real and tangible, and it's a good reminder. So write down any of the specific goals that you have. Maybe write it on a sticky note, put it on the refrigerator, or put it on the bathroom mirror, or maybe on the mirror right as you walk out the door in the morning to have that nice reminder of the things that you're focused on. And then you also want to write down, the reasons that you're doing this. So this is a great motivator as you move forward. So think about all those things that you've succeeded with so far, big and small. Write those down. So maybe your goal was to, drink more water. Write down every achievement. Maybe you bought a new water bottle. Maybe now you feel a little lost without it because you're so used to drinking water. Write down all of those achievements with each of the goals that you've had. And this really, it does feel empowering. At the end of the day, you could say, I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm really doing it. I'm really proud of myself. And again, this is a list just for you. And so you can always think about other things that maybe are in the future. So keep a list of things that you say, I know I might need to implement this at a later time. Put that on the maybe list and keep it, top of mind. And then when you feel ready, you can develop a SMART goal for that specific area. And so does anyone have, and I'll just pause here briefly, feel free in the chat. Are there any goals that you're thinking about enhancing or adding as we're getting into springtime? We're getting more sunlight, more warmer temperatures like today. Is there anything that you are considering to add as the summer temperatures start to trickle in? Let us know. I think spring is a great time to think about your health and your wellness goals. The daylight, the warm temperatures, the beautiful flowers. We're going to have more greenery. It just pulls us to be outside. So think about some of the things that you could create for that springtime. Okay. Whoop. All right. Perfect. So drinking more and walking more steps per day. Perfect. Those are great Great, great goals. And actually, let's just go back for just a moment. So yeah, so I'll use Sandra, I'll use yours as an example. So drinking more. So maybe it's 4 glasses, now it's 5 glasses of water. Or you said also getting walking more days per week. Absolutely. So will it be 2 days? Will it be 3 days? Or will you say, I'm going to aim for 3, but I'm going to see if I can do 4, and that'll be a bonus day. But 3 will be my baseline. But if I get any more than that, then that's just bonus. So let us know if you have any plans on how you're going to develop that SMART goal. I think walking is great. You can do it anywhere, and it's free, which I really, really like. And a lot of benefits can come with walking too. So I'm very happy to hear that. Now, we want to consider some things as we move forward. So things are going to happen, right? Not everything day is going to be perfect. We might set out to do some of our wellness goals, but sometimes things get in the way. And so as we move forward, we want to have some considerations about how we're going to tackle some of these roadblocks that might get in our way. Now, we talked about sleep last week. So hopefully that made you think about your sleeping routine and how it impacts your health and wellness. So think about as you move forward, how am I going to combat that sleep? Maybe trying to get a few extra hours of sleep a night that can do a body good. And so think about all those behaviors moving forward. So I think when we have spring, it just makes you want to get up early. So maybe it's going to bed at an earlier hour. So that way you can be relaxed and re-energized for the next day. Now, does anyone have sleep as a SMART goal? Has anyone thought about adding this to their routine? Or do you see changes in your sleep routine? Do you have any challenges coming up? Let me know. Now, one thing we want to think about as we move forward, so we've started this foundation with our health and wellness, but thinking about those roadblocks too. How are we going to work around those? So maybe your shift changes at work. Maybe you're working different hours. Like we do with meal planning, we want to have a game plan ahead of time. So maybe if you're changing shifts or working late, really set up that game plan so you can get that quality night's sleep. And just having that can really do a body good. So remember, moving forward, try to aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night or working towards that. And it really does do a body good. All right, so we have to talk about physical activity one more time because this is just so, so important. So really thinking ahead, does anyone have any goals for physical activity? How are we going to continue meeting our goals? Now, I mentioned last week that we need at least 150 minutes of moderate physical activity per week. Now that's for health benefits. But if we're thinking long-term, maybe we're motivated to have continued weight loss, or maybe we're motivated to improve our glucose levels, and we're looking to have a change in weight, we have to actually put in more time to see those benefits. So that's one other thing to consider moving forward. Oftentimes we can be successful starting out with about 150 minutes a week. Let's say we're striving for some long-term goals or things in the future. How are we going to constantly continue to update or modify our physical activity routine? People find that if they do lose weight, they might have to exercise 250 minutes to over 400 minutes a week. So that's about an hour a day on that higher end. So we know physical activity is very, very important. Of course, it strengthens our muscles, our bones, it helps with flexibility, helps with our mood. But in order to get more and more benefits and see long-term success, we have to think about how can we continue to add more activity into our day. So as we've started, we've really gotten that foundation, but then how are we going to expand on this as we move forward? So maybe it's walking. Maybe walking has been our goal. What are some things that we could do to enhance that? Could we walk at a faster pace? Or could we walk on a different terrain? Maybe get some inclines in. So when we think about really moving that needle forward with our goals, think about ways that you can push yourself each time. And that's really going to help you be successful. So consider to think about ways that you can be more active. And if you're still working on building that activity, no problem. Start where you are, continue where you are, and add something each day that meets your needs and abilities, and you're going to see those benefits throughout the next weeks and months to come. All right. So I also wanted to talk about stress. So in a perfect world, we wouldn't have stress, right? But there are going to be days where this is going to maybe be another roadblock. And we know that stress can impact us in a lot of different ways. So if we're stressed, that might impact our sleep, that might impact our food choices. We might maybe overindulge or maybe backtrack to some old eating habits. So we want to think about how we're going to manage stress moving forward. So, if you get an email that upsets you, or you have a bad day at work, how are you going to plan to manage that stress? How can we find something that maybe is a replacement for our old go-to, which may have been food? And so think about ways that you can combat stress moving forward. Is it getting a walk with some sunshine? Maybe it's taking up yoga or deep breathing exercises. What can we do? Because the less stress we have, the more we're able to focus on ourselves too. So let me know, what are some things that you like to do or you've thought about doing to help with your stress level moving forward? And let me know if there's anything in the chat. And really also think about how you respond to stress and what are some changes that you could make or consider making in the future. So, if it's a bad day, maybe the old go-to was chocolate or a treat. Well, is there anything that we could do in replace of that moving forward? So really thinking about all the different ways that you can reduce your stress in the future. And of course, that we know stress impacts your sleep, impacts your mood. It also puts stress on the body, which can impact your immune system as well too. So think about ways we can lower that stress. I'm telling you, it's 5 minutes in the sunshine makes all the difference for me. And lastly, I want to hit back on the hydration factor because it's getting a little bit warmer out. And so, Sandra, you've been working on that hydration. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's keep it going. So, hydration is very, very important. And so, as it gets warmer, we're going to start sweating and having additional losses. And so, in order to keep your body functioning at its best, we need to make sure that we're staying hydrated. So, today it was in the 70s. A little humid, so we might have been sweating a little bit more. So we want to make sure that we replace those losses. So think about how you can stay hydrated and try to minimize those liquid calories. So if you are used to drinking sweetened tea in the summertime, what are some changes that you can make this summer? Could it be unsweetened tea? What else could you do? One of my favorites is infused water. So taking your favorite fruit or vegetable and making a pitcher of all the sliced fruits and veggies and letting it infuse. It's a very, very refreshing. So think about what's a goal for yourself. Is it 4 glasses of water, 5 glasses of water a day? The goal for the average individual, we want to have about 64 to over 100 ounces of water a day. So we're talking multiple glasses. And of course, if you're out exercising or mowing the lawn or preparing your garden for summer, definitely want to make sure that you're having plenty to stay hydrated. So think about if anybody has made any changes with their beverage consumption over the last couple of weeks, let us know in the chat. Are there any changes or modifications that you've made? Let us know. All right. Now, lastly, I talked about some wonderful choices that you can utilize, while you are shopping that can impact all those areas of life too. So just wanted to hit back on some of these. And these are wonderful food choices for any day, but all of our favorite foods have some wonderful choices as well too, and some additional benefits for our body. So as you're shopping and moving forward and maybe trying to find new foods or different foods to meet your wellness goals, here are some great options that you can look for. Of course, foods that help increase your level of serotonin, which helps you relax, kind of that happy hormone. Things like kiwi, who knew, a great source of serotonin, or even cherries as well. And so we know adding more fruits and veggies to our day is great for health promotion, but it also can help you sleep at the end of the day. Now, other things too, we want to focus about complex carbohydrates. So things like popcorn, air pop popcorn. This is a wonderful snack. So if you're looking for something crunchy, if you like to have a crunchy snack in the afternoon or in the evening, popcorn is a great option for people who are trying to make lifestyle changes. Fiber and protein, it's filling, and you get a large volume as well too. And of course, nuts and seeds. So a great snack for improving sleep, but also a snack to keep you full throughout the day or between meals. Have some nuts with that popcorn. Protein, complex carbohydrates, it can be quite filling and satisfying for your next meal. So these are all wonderful foods that we can put into our cart. They serve a wonderful purpose, but they also can give us that added benefit of sleep. Now, we talked about the importance of physical activity. So let's tie it together with some of the foods that we might have in our pantry or things to look for. So maybe as you are pursuing a goal of maybe it's increasing physical activity, or maybe it's lifting weights, maybe it's going back to the gym. There are wonderful food choices that we can pack in our bag or have as part of a meal or a snack after our exercise activity. So something as energizing as a banana before you take your walk, that's going to give you lots of energy and carbohydrates to keep you going, but not be too heavy that it upsets your stomach. Or maybe it's something as simple as a granola bar, or maybe you're going for a long walk on a warm day. Even using one of the sports drinks can give you some additional carbohydrates and electrolytes to keep you going, but not be too heavy as well. So some other considerations as that summertime temperature starts to increase. Now, other things that can be a great snack, but are also beneficial at maybe you're hitting the gym, or maybe you're doing some home workouts. A great way to refuel after a workout, having some hot or dark or chocolate milk. This is a great option. This is a common one. So it has protein and carbohydrates, and it's tasty too. And it's a great way to repair and refuel after a workout as well too. So just some other ways you can nourish your body as you move forward with any of your wellness goals. And also too, we want to consider maybe you're increasing that activity. Having some sort of protein after an exercise routine will help your muscles repair as well. Or something as simple as maybe you go for a morning workout, you come home and have a smoothie. That's a great way to repair and rebuild those muscles after your activity. So lots of things that we can incorporate into our carts for our meals and snacks that really can help us with any goals that we're working on. And let's talk about that stress too, because I know it's going to happen. There are going to be days that maybe just impact our schedule and we're not able to do what we intended to do. But there are wonderful things that we can have on our plate that really can help with stress and help us relax. And of course, things like those heart healthy fats from avocados and nuts and seeds, or those wonderful antioxidants from blueberries and our veggies, or even ginger or turmeric. Those are great items that we can have on our plate, maybe you have on your salad, that can really give you that boost of antioxidants and help minimize any stress. Or also too, something as simple as sprinkling some cinnamon on your oatmeal or even your yogurt. It smells good, and it's very relaxing as well too. So lots of wonderful things that you can incorporate into your meals and snacks moving forward that again can do a whole body good, help with stress, help with sleep, and really help you be successful with any of those goals that you have in mind. And lastly, some other areas you can think about for hydration. So moving forward, if you're saying, okay, I'm going to try to drink as much water as I can. Well, of course, you can do the infused water that I mentioned, or something like a seltzer or sparkling water, one of my favorites. If you love carbonation, that's a great way to meet your hydration needs. So I don't know, Sandra, I don't know if you're a seltzer or a sparkling water person, but this could be a great option for you moving forward. Or maybe it's a flavored water, just something that has a hint of sweetness, but is very low calorie, 0 calories, and can be quite refreshing too. Now, also some fun things that you might have seen in the store too, if you're looking for maybe a different beverage to help get those fluids in. Many of you may have seen kombucha in the store. If you've tried it, let me know in the chat. This is something fun that you could try for something different. Kombucha is a natural source of probiotics. So as we know, probiotics are good for our gut, and we can get them in different forms of our food. So we typically think of dairy products. But if you're looking for something refreshing, you can get those probiotics in your kombucha or your fermented beverage. So just some wonderful things that you can look for as the temperatures warm up. All right. Now, a couple of things that we want to consider as we continue on our own. So we want to find a support system. Whether it's a friend, a family worker, a family member, a coworker, maybe it's someone that you chat with online, find your support team. Don't do it alone. We have power in numbers. So whatever goals you're thinking about pursuing, or maybe the goals that you started working on, have a team. Tell someone what you're focusing on so you can have that cheerleader in your court. And so that way you can have someone check in and say, hey, how are you doing with that water, Sandra? How are you doing with the steps? How are you doing with your sleep? How are you doing with that stress eating? Having someone there can really help you stay on course. And nothing like someone saying, all right, where were you at that exercise class this morning? Helps keep you on the straight and narrow. So really find your support team and let them know how you're doing, but it makes a world of difference when you have someone that you can talk to about your goals, and again, have that cheerleader. And then think about that place that I mentioned earlier. Take a Post-it note, write down the goals, put them where you'll see them. Maybe they're on the refrigerator, maybe they're on your laptop or by your car keys when you leave in the morning, and keep it top of mind. And one thing that's really important, we are all humans. So no matter what your goals are, maybe it wasn't the best day, maybe it was a stressful day, count all those successes. So whatever you're working on, keep that list like I mentioned, write down everything that you did. What was great? What were you proud of? Maybe you walked an extra block, or maybe you walked farther in your time that you were walking. Maybe you walked an extra quarter mile in your 30-minute walk. Think about all those successes. Maybe it's just walking up the steps. Maybe you notice that you're not as out of breath anymore. All of those little modifications or those little things that you notice in yourself are big successes. So celebrate them no matter what they are. Now, lastly, too, it takes time to build a new habit. Sometimes 6 weeks isn't long enough. So again, we are all human. We have those tendencies that we might fall back on. The best thing we can do is monitor ourselves, monitor our habits, weigh the pros and cons of having, or going back to our old habits or continuing our new habits. And it takes time to build that into our routine. Remember, we didn't develop those habits long ago overnight. They took time to develop as well. So we can become creatures of habit. It just takes a little bit of time. So keep up the hard work. And we are human. We're going to have those days, but it's all right. We're going to continue on. And lastly, some other things to consider moving forward. One way that we can be successful, maybe we're striving to manage our weight or lose weight or maintain, or maybe trying to manage our glucose levels. One of the best things that we can do is cook from home. And so having those meal inspirations at your fingertips can really make a difference. So, this goes along with meal planning as well. So, you can always utilize our Giant Savory magazine to find items that are seasonal, flavorful, and better for you. And when you make these at home, you're going to get all those benefits, probably save a few dollars as well. And you can enjoy what you're having and not feel guilty because you're making choices that are in your best needs for those goals you have in mind. So definitely consider ways that you can continue cooking at home. If you need inspiration for whether it's those next set of meals that are coming up for meal planning, check out a meal planning app like Dinner Time or Mealime. These are great. They can help you find new things or kind of change it up a little bit. Or, use other inspiration online too. Supercook, Epicurious. These are great items, or great websites, I should say, that can help you find inspiration for things that you might already have in your fridge. So you can use up what you have. So again, this might be a goal for yourself moving forward. How can I make more meals at home? There's no wrong goal to make. It's personal, and it's whatever makes you feel satisfied and just really proud of yourself moving forward. So again, think about all those wonderful ways that you can continue to cook or maybe start cooking at home. And lastly, it's only been a few weeks, but you always have support. So at Giant, we have our healthy living team. We are available all the time. All you have to do is visit giantfood.com/nutrition. You can also use the QR code reader on your phone. Just open up your camera. You can scan any of these barcodes and it'll take you right to our webpage. So if you have questions about moving forward, or maybe you're feeling stuck as you're trying to achieve your goals, whether big or small, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to work with you individually to help you meet those goals. And of course, we have our Healthy Living by Giant Facebook group. So this is a great way to stay connected with our team. Get lots of inspiration for meals, exercise, wellness, you name it. And then also our Healthy Living by Giant podcast. This is another great way to stay informed. We just celebrated our 100th podcast in February. So we're on to 101. So these are great episodes to help you with anything that you might be working on. Maybe it's self-care, maybe it's mindfulness, maybe it's finding new products in store. Really anything that's important to you, we have in our library, and it's so inspiring. And it's great to have an expert in the field. We always have an expert guest along with one of our dietitians on our team. And it's such a great source of information and a great way to stay motivated. So just some things that we have available to help you no matter where you're at. And I'm happy to help at any time. You can always reach out to me. And I'm going to put my email in the chat for everyone's reference. And then I know we had a couple of questions, so I'm happy to answer those. I know, Sandra, you had a question. I'm going to put my email into the chat. And then we'll open it up. If anyone has any other questions, anything that's on your mind, let us know. Oh, so Sandra, this is a good question. Is sugar alcohol counted towards your total sugars for the day? No, it would just be the added sugars like high fructose corn syrup, table sugar, all of those. So sugar alcohols are another sweetener that's available. They're lower in calories than table sugar. So it's another sweetener that's available. But definitely, if you're looking at that line on the nutrition facts label, just look at that added sugar line. And if you can find items that are 5% or less of the daily value, the better. So I hope that answers your question. Let me know if there's anything else I can elaborate on. Oh, yeah. So if it has 0 added sugars, then it has 15 grams of sugar alcohols. So those are going to have less of an impact on your glucose level than regular sugars. Now, what I would say with the sugar alcohols, I would be mindful. So if something has 15 grams, that can, if we have a lot of it, it can cause GI upset. So I always encourage people, no matter what it is that's made with sugar alcohols, just make sure you don't have too much of it at once, just to help minimize any of those possible side effects. And if I may ask, which product are you, is it like a beverage or is it like a sweet treat that you're referring to? Let me know. Oh, the Skinny Cow ice cream. Yeah. So that's a great option. So the Skinny Cow, they're going to be made with those different sugar alcohols. And to identify an alcohol, it's an ingredient that ends in OL, like erythritol. So it's not necessarily added sugars, it's another type of sweetener. So what I would say is typically the Skinny Cows are individual portions, that would be just fine. If it was something that was like, they could easily eat multiple servings of, I would just be very cautious about that portion size. But yeah, that's a great question. Right. Now, does anyone have any last thoughts, questions, concerns, anything that I can answer? Anything that you've thought about, moving forward when you think about, adding or modifying things in your diet and lifestyle? Does anyone have any thoughts or questions? No? All right, going once, going twice. Well, again, my email is in the chat. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. Really, no matter where you're at with your wellness endeavors, one change makes huge difference. So we always like to say one little small change turns into giant benefits. So pat yourself on the back for any modifications that you've made. There's no wrong way to do it. And it really does make you feel empowered, and it really can help you as you continue on your journey. Oh, yeah, Mary, that's a great question. Any advice for getting back on the program if you fall off? Well, I would say it's a bump in the road. How about that? And so it is normal for people to kind of bounce between maybe they're motivated, maybe they're on a course, and maybe something happens. If you have a bad day, you're not able to exercise, and sometimes it can change into multiple days. We've all been there. So to get back into gear, weigh the pros and cons. Say, why do I want to do this? What's keeping me from doing this? Is it time? Is it dedication? Is it just the enthusiasm about this? And think about just making one tiny modification. So I'll give you an example. Maybe you say, I haven't been exercising in a while. I just haven't done it for X, Y, and Z reasons. Start with 5 minutes. Start with a very small goal. So whatever it might be that you feel ready to do, start with 5 minutes. And then see how you feel. And as you add little by little back in, that can really help get you back on course. And what I always think about is if you had success previously, we're human, it's going to happen. So take what you worked well for you before and try to slowly add that back in. And so even as simple as 5 minutes of exercise, sometimes you feel like, hey, that wasn't so bad. I'll keep going and going. So that would be my recommendation. If you were successful, but, maybe fell off course a little bit, that's okay. We can take baby steps to get back to where we were, no problem. So pick 1 or 2 things and see how it goes. Yeah. And of course, get that exercise buddy or that motivation buddy. Tell a coworker, say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about doing this, ask me how I'm doing every couple of days. Keep me on track. And just letting someone else know what you're striving for. You've got that cheerleader in your court, and maybe they'll do it with you. Great. All right. Any last questions? No, going once, going twice. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. I appreciate everyone coming out throughout the week. And I hope to see you back for a future presentation. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Wendy.
Thank you for joining us today. And thank you so much, Melanie, for this incredible series. So much helpful information. I've included a link to our survey in the chat. We would love your feedback. I will also send out links to the previous sessions that are recorded on YouTube for you and some other links that were mentioned in the session today. Yeah, so great series. Thank you again. And everyone have a great evening. Enjoy the warm weather.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Wendy.
Good night.